Right, good morning everybody and welcome. This is Andy Booth from Governance Services. Under agenda item number 1, Councillor Hutchison was appointed as chair prior to the meeting. Can members just confirm that they're happy with this?
Yes.
Yep, thank you. So that's Councillor Hutchison formally appointed as chair. Over to you, Chair.
Thanks, Andy. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this remote hearing of the Licensing Subcommittee. My name is Councillor Andrew Hutchison, and I will be chairing today's hearing. Before I proceed further, could I remind everyone that today's meeting is being streamed live on the City Council's YouTube channel. Could I now ask, please, the members of the subcommittee to introduce themselves, please. I think we have Councillor Linda Richards.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Councillor Linda Richards, and I'm from the Wetherby Ward area.
Thanks, Councillor Richards. And Councillor Ray?
Councillor Paul Ray, representing Hunsdon and Riverside Ward.
Thanks, Councillor. I would like to start the hearing today by confirming that this meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee meets the requirements of the Council's constitution, even though members of the panel are in remote attendance. While items today will be fully discussed as is usual, the remote attendance requires a few slight changes as to how we will manage the debate. Therefore, can all attendees mute their microphones unless I invite them to speak? This will avoid disruption from background noise. And can all participants please keep their cameras on during the hearing? So all participants will be invited to introduce themselves at the start of the hearing to make it clear to public observers who will be involved in the proceedings. And can I ask for your assistance and patience while I just go through this process? Could I now invite officers to introduce themselves, and once you've finished introducing yourselves, to mute your microphones afterwards. We have Rob Brown from Legal Services.
Good morning, my name is Robert Brown. I'm a solicitor in Leeds City Council's Legal Services. I'm the legal advisor to the subcommittee this morning, and I'm supported by my colleague and fellow solicitor, Philippa Murray.
Thanks, Rob. We have Matthew Nelson from Entertainment Licensing.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Matthew, part of Entertainment Licensing, and today I'm supported by Samantha Longfellow-Pennicott.
I think, Matthew, you might be experiencing some connection issues there, possibly. It was a bit, we could hear what you were saying, but just barely. And then we've got Andy Booth from Governance Services.
Good morning, Andy Booth from Governance Services, and I'll be the clerk to the subcommittee this morning.
Thanks, Andy. And then also, could I ask the applicant and the representatives to introduce themselves? I believe we've got Luke Elford.
Yes, good morning, councillors. Good morning, everybody. My name is Luke Elford. I'm the solicitor representing the applicant today, TRL Promotions Limited. And with me, unfortunately, she doesn't have video, is my client, Bianca Haruta.
Okay, thanks, Luke. And then have we got Suhail Mohamed, the manager of Liberte?
Unfortunately, Mr. Mohamed is unavoidably detained this morning. He asked me to send his apologies.
Okay, great, thanks. We don't have any representation, do we, to introduce?
No, Chair, there's just the applicant's representatives today.
Yeah, great, thanks, Andy. Over to you, Andy.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So moving on to the agenda, under agenda item number 2, there are no appeals against the refusal of inspection of documents. Under agenda item number 3, there is no exempt information on the agenda. Agenda item number 4, there are no late items that I'm aware of today. And agenda item number 5, could I ask members if they have any disclosable pecuniary interest to declare?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so back to you, Chair.
Great, thanks, Andy. Okay, so agenda item number 6, which is the application for the renewal of a 6th establishment license for Liberte, 10 York Place in Leeds. Could I please ask legal advisor to the subcommittee to outline today's procedure?
Thank you, Chair. Our usual procedure for this type of application is for the applicant to address the committee first. For any other parties whether in support or in opposition to the application, to then address the committee, and for the applicant to then have the chance to respond to anything said by the other parties. Committee members may wish to ask questions. As I understand it from the report and agenda pack, there are no objections to this renewal application by any individual or organisation or by any of the responsible authorities. In making its determination, the subcommittee will consider what is appropriate and proportionate. Grounds for refusal of an application include A, that the applicant is unsuitable to hold the licence by reason of having been convicted of an offence or for any other reason. B, that if the licence were to be granted, renewed or transferred, the business to which it relates would be managed by or carried on for the benefit of a person other than the applicant who would be refused the grant, renewal or transfer of such a licence if he made the application himself. C, that the number of sex establishments or of sex establishments of a particular kind in the relevant locality at the time of the application is determined is equal to or exceeds the number which the authority consider is appropriate for that locality. D, that the grant or renewal of the licence will be inappropriate having regard to 1, the character of the relevant locality, 2, the use to which any premises in the vicinity are put, or 3, the layout, character or condition of the premises, or in respect of which the application is made. The regulations permit the subcommittees to set a time limit on presentations, provided that the same time limit is applied to all parties. Our usual time limit is 15 minutes per party. Applicants can split their allocation between an initial presentation and then a summing up at the end after any questions from members. In this case, however, there are no other parties, and Mr. Elford, you may wish to make your presentation in one go. Which would you prefer?
I think I'll just make one single presentation of a couple of minutes, if that's okay.
Okay. I was going to ask you, do you think you need more than 15 minutes? But it sounds like that's not going to be the case. After your presentation, the subcommittee members may wish to ask questions. The time for questions to be asked and answered is in addition to the time limit set for your presentation. Do you have any witnesses you wish to call to give evidence today, Mr. Elford?
No, not at all. Ms. Bianca Haruta is here if there are any questions that I can't sensibly deal with, operational questions. I don't expect that there will be any, but she is here just in case.
Thank you. All documents that have been submitted have been copied and circulated to the subcommittee in advance. You should all have the same original pack with the agenda report running to 104 pages in total. If anyone does not have that pack, could they please unmute their microphone and let me know now? It would be helpful when referring to documents to identify which document you're referring to by the page number in the agenda pack. Please note that your presentation is your only opportunity to address the subcommittee direct, so you should try to make sure that you've included everything that you wish to say and have taken into account. The committee has read the bundle, but this hearing is an opportunity for you to emphasise or expand upon any particular points you would like the committee to focus on. After your presentation and after any questions, the committee will go into private session in a virtual breakout room. If members then have any additional questions to ask, they will return to the main meeting to ask those questions. For that reason, all parties are asked to remain in the main meeting room until they're asked to leave. All the parties present will be informed once the hearing has ended and will be advised of the decision in writing within 5 working days of today. If anyone has any questions or concerns about the procedure I've just outlined, please unmute your microphone now and let me know. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Rob. Matthew, would you like to present the application, please? Yeah, I think we're having issues hearing you, Matthew. I think you are unmuted as well, aren't you? Is everybody else struggling to hear Matthew?
Matthew, can you hear the chair? Wave if you can.
Yeah, is everybody else struggling to hear Matthew? Just give us a thumbs up if you are struggling.
No sound whatsoever.
Right, I think, is it worthwhile, Matthew, is it worthwhile maybe trying to disconnect and reconnect back on again? So I think when you came on, it was a bad connection as well, so it might be just need a reconnection maybe.
or try your headset, maybe.
Chair, if I may, I can read the application on behalf of Matthew.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, thanks, Samantha. If you do that while Matthew tries to rectify his problems.
Okay.
Over to you, Samantha.
Thank you. Members are asked to consider the application for the renewal of a sex establishment licence for the premises known as Liberte at 10 York Place, Leeds, LS1 2DS. In order to provide members of the licensing subcommittee with an overview of the sex establishment licences in Leeds and the regulation of them, background information has been included in the report at point 2. The history of these premises specifically can be noted at point 3 of the report. The application is made by TRL Promotions Limited and mirrors the provisions of the existing licence. The application applies, to the ground floor and basement level of the premises, and the proposed hours of the operation also remain the same, which are from 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. Sunday to Thursday and 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Friday and Saturday. A copy of the existing licence is available at Appendix A of the report on page 15, and a copy of the renewal application can be viewed at Appendix B on page 17. Also available on page 37 at Appendix C is the supporting information supplied with the application, including in-house policies and code of conducts. A consideration for today's committee is the external appearance of the premises. Illustrations of the premises exterior are available in the agenda pack at Appendix D on page 89, and on comparing the images in those submitted with previous applications, there does not appear to be any material change to the exterior of the premises. Another consideration for members is advertising and promotional material. On this occasion, no such material has been submitted, and if the application is successful, the operator will have to rely on material approved by a previous licensing subcommittee. The application has not attracted any representations. However, members of the licensing subcommittee are still required to determine the application to renew the licence in accordance with the sex establishment statement of licensing policy. Part of the policy takes into account sensitive premises within the vicinity of the applying premises, and to aid members, officers have produced a map to identify the location of sensitive premises in the area at Appendix F on page 97. The categories of sensitive premises is available at 6.3 of the report. Finally, Chair, the standard conditions which are set out in the policy can be found at page 99 at Appendix G. And that's the application. Thank you.
Thanks, Samantha. Matthew, do you want to just test your microphone, see if we can hear you now?
Yeah, can everybody hear me now? Lovely. I'm through the app now rather than the browser.
Right,
thanks
great.
all. Thanks, Sam.
That's obviously why we have the backup plans. So yeah, great. Thanks, Samantha.
Very much so.
Over to the applicant. If you can present your case, please.
Thank you, councillors. Very difficult for me really to add a great deal to what's been said in the very helpful report from your licensing officers. Just a small amount of background. We're one of the 3 original SEV premises that has operated since you moved into the Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act regime. We've operated since with no issues, and you have very kindly renewed our licence annually. As you've heard, there are no objections to this application from responsible authorities or members of the public or groups with interest in these types of premises. We say that is a huge gold star stuck firmly on our application. Just in terms of the 2 matters that you do have to consider today, the external appearance of the premises and the advertising material. There's been no change to the external appearance of the premises, and indeed the premises has been closed completely since March due to the government regulations. And in terms of the advertising promotional material, we haven't been doing any advertising, but any advertising we would do would be based on the existing material that we do have. There's been very little help for these types of venues, and unfortunately we do have to renew the licence every year at quite significant cost. This is a premises that has operated without any problems. There are no objections to the application. More than happy to deal with any questions that you might have for us. but respectfully, councillors, none of the discretionary powers that you have to refuse this application are engaged, and we respectfully ask that you grant the renewal for another year. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Elford. I'm going to put out to questions if any members have questions. I'm seeing none. Can I just reconfirm, if I may, that just around the advertising and promotional material it is not changing, and there's even though they have been shut, should hopefully you do get open possibly in the new year, that will remain the same as per application from last year.
Yes, that's correct. At the moment, based on the regulations that were laid before Parliament yesterday and come into effect today, it looks like February 2021 at the earliest. But there's no change to our promotional material at all.
Okay, and also likewise, there's no intention for any changes of the inside or outside building structure or signage?
None whatsoever.
Great, and then obviously no intention for to be changing variation to opening hours?
Not at this present moment in time, no.
Great, okay. Again, open to any other members if anybody has anything? No, okay, I'm seeing none. Okay, in that case, the subcommittee will now move into a private session to deliberate on the application. Could I ask that all parties, including the applicant and their representatives and the licensing officer, remain available should the subcommittee have any additional questions? If there are any additional questions, you'll be invited back into the meeting by the clerk. Over to you, Andy.
Right, thank you, Chair. Members, the legal officer and myself will now move to a breakout room for private discussion. We'll return to the meeting room when those discussions have concluded. And if you could just stay on the line until then, please. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors.
We're just waiting on Councillor Richards. Well, we're just waiting on a few people to come back in from the breakout room. You just bear with us. Just waiting on a few more, Matthew. Then I think, is that everybody now, Andy?
Yeah, if Councillor Richards is back online, yes, we're all back in.
Yep.
Okay.
Excellent.
Oh, it's been flaky this morning.
Okay, thank you everybody for your patience. We do sometimes experience a few issues with breakout rooms and people coming back in and such, but we are all back now. So yeah, thanks everybody for your attendance today. That does conclude the business, and the applicant will be informed of the decision within the next 5 working days. Thanks very much. I think if members just want to stick around, and everybody else, you